We focus our attention to the super lightweight division. There is Jesus Silveryra matching up against Amon Rashidi. Joe, take us behind the numbers.
Well, here again, you got the taller guy and Rashidi 5'9" to 5'4". You know, they're both about the same weight, and look at the reach advantage. You've got 4 inches in the favor of Rashidi, who's also got the 5 inches in height advantage. So, you know, there it again, that's a big advantage if you got a fighter. I like those numbers for my guy.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here in Los Angeles. 8 rounds. This in the super lightweight division presented by Premier Boxing Champions. Your 3 judges scoring this contest at ringside will be Eddie Hernandez Sr., Robert Hoyle, and Damian Walton. The referee in charge when the bell sounds is Thomas Taylor. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he comes in wearing the black and the silver, weighing in officially at 141 1/2 pounds. His record: 8 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws, 3 wins coming by way of knockouts. Joining us from Nuevo León, Mexico, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, presentando Jesus Bam Bam Silveryra. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the black trunks, weighing in officially at already 142 pounds. His record: 8 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 6 wins coming by way of knockouts. Joining us from Dallas, Texas, ladies and gentlemen, this is Amon King Rashidi.
Boxer Chief second. Boxer Chief second. Right here, gentlemen. Okay, Chief, belt line's good here, so he's gonna get right to the top, okay? His belt line's a little high, so I'm gonna give him right to the top of the letters, all right? Gentlemen, I gave you instructions in the back. Protect yourselves at all times, listen to my commands. Touch gloves, back to your corner, gentlemen.
Well, you notice a familiar face in the corner of Amon Rashidi, that being Derek James, the trainer of Errol Spence Jr., welterweight champion of the world, and Jermell Charlo as well. So when you are working with someone of the caliber of Derek James, you know you're going to come in tip-top shape and be ready to go, Joe.
Oh, yeah. Look, again, you can know a fighter sometimes, but who's in the corner with him? Derek James is a no-nonsense trainer, and he's a very successful trainer. So I guarantee Rashidi's going to have a lot of poise and a lot of talent, or else he wouldn't be working with him.
Well, Amon Rashidi started his career undefeated at 7-0 with 5 knockouts. He suffered a loss and then a draw in back-to-back fights. Since then, he got back in the win column with the first-round knockout over Rynell Griffin. As each of his last 4 wins have come by knockout. He's only fought once since December of 2019, and we look at last year, obviously, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Meantime, for Jesus Silveryra, first fight after a 3-year layoff, almost exactly 3 years. Made his U.S. debut in his last fight. That was 3 years ago, a 4th-round TKO loss. He's looking to get back in the win column after losing 3 straight.
And Silveryra is the first time he's trained in the United States. He trained at the Santa Cruz gym, and he said he's never been in better shape. So let's see if that plays out tonight.
And now he's trying to cut the distance off against Amon Rashidi, as Silveryra is giving up 5 inches to the taller fighter from Dallas, Texas, in Rashidi.
But you see, Rashidi kind of squats a lot. He'll bring himself down to the same height as Silveryra. So, you know, sometimes that's an advantage for the shorter guy if you do that instead of using your height and reach. So, but again, Rashidi's a very patient fighter. I watched tapes on him. He throws very good, accurate punches. But he's patient. So let's see if he takes his time and finds the right openings.
There's an overhand right as we are approaching 75 seconds to go in this, our first round. Ray Flores, the legendary Joe Goosen, and Jordan Plant here on this Tuesday night here in downtown Los Angeles. I love boxing every night of the week, Joe, but I mean, it has a special meaning on the weeknight.
Well, I grew up on Thursday night fights coming out of the Olympic Auditorium back when I was a kid. That was a staple, and then the Gillette Friday night fights too, back when I was really high. so I grew up on weekday fights. Believe you me, it's
definitely very entertaining.
I'll take him any night.
I agree. I mean, give him to me all day, every day. But right now, Amon Rashidi is looking to do some damage against Jesus Silveryra. But so far, a feeling out process here in our opening stanza.
Yeah, it's an 8-round fight, and you know, you got to give the fighters a chance to at least feint a little bit, you know, put the feelers out and see what happens, how a guy reacts to it.
Right now, Silveryra looking to close the distance. Final moments of the first round between Amon Rashidi and Jesus Silveryra here in Los Angeles.
Well, I never want to lose a fight, and I know fighters don't want to lose. But if you're going to lose a fight, you better use that as a learning tool. Get back to the gym and cure whatever ailed you in that particular fight.
Well, and also, too, not everyone is going to be Floyd Mayweather. What Floyd did was something just an anomaly, 50-0. So, I mean, it's okay. It happens. Losing is a part of combat sports. You look at Julian Williams. He lost. He came back, defeated Jared Hurd, became super welterweight champion of the world. Jermell Charlo lost to Tony Harrison back in December of 2018. What does he do? Go back, and he's got 3 belts now, looking to go ahead and unify the entire division. So,
well, you make great points there, and there's no arguing that, and I'd agree 120% with you. But you're right. Losing a fight in today's market, though, is a little bit different than, let's say, if you were a baseball team, you went 25-1.
Of course,
you'd be considered one of the great runs of all time. You know. I
mean, you know, speaking of Los Angeles, Marco Antonio Barrera lost to Kennedy McKinney, and he came back and I mean, look at the career that he had. So we would have never had the names of Gaddy, Ward, Morales, Pacquiao, even the 8 division world champion. So it's not the end of the world if you lose a fight or two.
No, if you're going to have 40, 50, 60 fights, you're going to run into somebody who's got your number. That's all there is to it.
But right now, Amon Rashidi is trying to have the number of Jesus Silveryra. Thus far, though, Rashidi is starting to get more into his rhythm, but he just got tagged with the right hand.
Well, he did. Rashidi threw a beautiful left uppercut, but right away, Silveryra threw that right hand counter and clipped him before he could get his hand back. That's the old thing, you know. It's like a trainer told me back in the old days. It's not how fast you get them out; it's how fast you get them back.
Always trying to make sure that your defense is ready to go. And I believe there's some blood now streaming outside of the right nostril of Amon Rashidi. Now he ties up here. Thomas Taylor allowing them to fight out of the break. There's a right hand, a left hook there that connected for Silveryra.
Well, in that case, you know, Rashidi got his right hand back before that left hand could land cleanly, and that's an example of getting your hands back quickly. You want to do that, especially when you're in close, because those guys are taught once you touch an arm or hand, boom, you got to counter right off, hoping they haven't gotten it back yet. And that's a training tactic that you teach.
Well, obviously, that's why you are so good at what you do, Joe.
Well, there's a lot of guys out there that do a lot of what I do, and I learned from a lot of the great guys myself. I didn't invent any of this stuff. So, you know, I listened, I learned, I watched, and I practiced. And there's a lot of great coaches out there, and a lot of great up-and-coming coaches. There will always be great coaches out there because there are guys that love what they do.
When boxing is blossoming on so many different levels, and right now, Amon Rashidi, though, he is in a confrontation against Jesus Silveryra. Some blood streaming from his right nostril as we head towards round number 3, as Silveryra has bloodied the nose of Amon Rashidi.
It almost looks like he's got a cut around the eye, to tell you the truth, Rashidi.
So Jesus Silveryra with those right hands. Oh, there is the blood right there into your living rooms. We'll come back with more from Los Angeles.
Second round, it was too close. I need you to pick up your offense. Keep working the stick. If he's stepping back, jab, 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 jab. Touch him, then hit the shot. You can't. If you're not there, you can't hit him. No reaching. Keep your hands up tight on the inside. Step, because he's really not doing anything. He can sit popping, but the jab is what's getting you. You gotta close up.
Go ahead.
You gotta close up on the inside. Hands tight on the inside, one shot at a time, because he's timing your shot. One shot at a time.
And here's that shot that started the blood. Look at that big right hand from Silveryra.
Yeah, followed after the left uppercut. And Yeah, he's not cut around the eye. But what Derek James said in the corner was exactly what we were just talking about. He goes, he's trying to time your shots, which means I touch you, and then you're going to try to clip me on that same side that you touched me on before you get the hand back. So he goes, you got to keep your hands tight in there.
Well, he let him know, listen, bring your defense back, because when you sit in the pocket and you don't bring your hands back, that's when you get countered and you get hit, and that's exactly what happened with Silveryra.
Yeah, you can bring them back, but sometimes it ain't quick enough.
Exactly, that's so true. You can't be lazy, and that's why you put in the road work and the conditioning. We'll see how Amon Rashidi can respond, as Los Angeles hasn't necessarily been too kind to him. He suffered his only career loss down the street at Staples Center. That was on the undercard of Spence and Porter. And for Silveryra, though, coming off a 3-year layoff, he hasn't shown many signs or much sign of ring rust whatsoever, Joe.
No, he's actually fighting a pretty smart fight right now, and he's enough so that Derek James gave Rashidi a nice lecture
kind of a tongue lashing a little bit, well, in Derek James fashion.
There's a nice uppercut by Silveryra again on the inside. That's what he's been landing. He's been landing nice short, crisp uppercuts against Rashidi.
Coming up on 100 seconds to go here in the third round. Well, Silveryra did spend time training with the Santa Cruz camp, and we know about that gym. I mean, it's a small gym, but they get a lot of work done, and they're all about action and coming forward and really testing yourself.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of creative and intelligent technique going on in that gym as well.
Very true.
I mean, Leo's he's one of those fighters that you don't really realize how good he is until you see him in there with other great fighters. That being said, this has really been a test for Rashidi. This is not an easy fight. Now, Silveryra's record is 8-6-3, but he's not fighting like an 8-6-3 guy, is he?
No, not at all. And he's got confidence. I think his confidence is starting to blossom as the fight progresses. We'll see if Rashidi can turn things around, and he gets clipped with a left hook on the inside.
Well, that's because Rashidi grabbed Silveryra on the inside, and when he pulled his hands off of him, just like he is right there, Silveryra unleashed a quick left hook and caught him before he got his hands back.
Are you surprised that Rashidi isn't using his height and his reach more?
Well, no, because his instinct is to kind of fight you. He's not a guy that wants to box you, be a boxer, mover, counter puncher, even though he'll take a few steps in and out like this. It's a smart thing to do, but he'll fight you. If you look at his tapes, he'll get in there and dig with you. But right now, he's really getting tagged this round.
He just got tagged with a left hook, and blood streaming from that right nostril of Amon Rashidi as round 3 draws to an end. Amon Rashidi and Jesus Silveryra. Rashidi unloading that overhand right, followed by a left on the temple. He landed some nice shots, but he also ate them as well. Listening in the corner, Derek James with Amon Rashidi.
Shoot a shot. He's going to take 2 steps and stop. 2 steps and stop. That's all he does.
And we go ahead and enter the next round. Round number 4. This one's scheduled for 8 with Silveryra and Rashidi. And Joe, what did you think about the instructions that Derek James has been telling Amon Rashidi?
Well, I just... Look, I mean, there's not a lot to make of that. He just said he's going to take 2 steps to you and do nothing. So, in other words, you better do something. So he wants him to do that. He wanted him to get some angles on the inside when he's, instead of just sitting right in front of him, turn him here. But see, like that, he tried to grab him and turn him a little bit, but it didn't work because Silveryra is kind of a strong guy. He's not going to let you just turn him that easily. But I think Rashidi's making a big mistake.
Well, he's wanting to mix it up on the inside here.
No, but the mistake he's making is he's grabbing on too often and trying to tie up Silveryra instead of getting that work done on the inside. If you're on the inside, get the work done. Don't grab on, okay? Unless you're going to grab on to spin out and get the heck out, start over again.
Get on the inside, don't grab on, keep your distance, and then go back on the attack is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. If you're there, get something done. Don't take all that time and that effort to get there and not do something to the guy.
But now Rashidi is trying to hammer away upon the body of Silveryra.
Well, he just got clipped with 2 left hooks right there. Rashidi.
There's a nice right hand there by Rashidi as we are approaching the midway point of the 4th round.
Yeah, he's landing some good shots this round, Rashidi, but they're getting rough with each other right now. A lot of forearms and gloves in the faces.
Wonder what's going on here.
No coaching, guys. Just rinse it.
All the mouthpiece fell out.
Right, bite down.
Joe, this has been a physical fight here. Probably the most physical fight that we've seen of the night.
Time in.
Absolutely. Silveryra, like I said, he said to us in the fight, he's the best shape he's ever been in his life, and he trained at Santa Cruz's gym. Now, Rashidi's with Derek James, who is a real taskmaster. He's not going to let you skim through workouts. You're going to work hard, and because it's his reputation on the line too. So, you know, he wants his guy to win for a lot of reasons, but he's in there with a real tough underdog right now that's giving him problems, and Rashidi's going to have to step it up and really hurt Silveryra with something. He hasn't really hurt him yet, has he?
No, he hasn't. I don't think so. I mean, he's clipped him a few times, Joe, but nothing significant to buckle or wobble Silveryra.
Yeah.
And what I like about Silveryra is that he's the kind of fighter. There's a nice left hook on the inside. Oh, man, they are letting the leather fly here. But it's professional resistance that Silveryra offers opponents.
Yeah, look, he didn't come here to offer resistance. He came here to win tonight, Silveryra. That's the way it looks to me. And in that last exchange, he landed like 3 left hooks.
Well, there's a nice body shot there, and that might have been a low, as Thomas Taylor warns Silveryra to keep him up as we head towards round number 5. A left hook, that comes Rashidi.
Nice right hand left hook.
Ebb and flow action here. Wow. Amon Rashidi in a battle against Jesus Silveryra here in Los Angeles. Ray Flores, Joe Goosen alongside Jordan Plant as we head towards round number 5 of this super lightweight matchup. And there is Derek James, who is standing by with our very own Jordan Plant. Jordan.
Thank you, Derek. I know Amon's getting hit quite a bit more than you'd like him to. Besides the obvious keeping his hands up, what can he do to keep Silveryra from hitting him so much?
I think it's about coming at him at the angle.
Taking angles, maybe mixing in some feints to freeze him, because this is a guy that comes forward and might freeze him.
They're too close to the angle, to the feints. So he like keep the distance, but he's not keeping the distance. He's having better success on the inside.
All right, and he seems like he sometimes gets caught trading with him.
Right.
What do you got to do to get him to listen to you and stick to the game plan?
It's just about, got to get back in his mind, have him remind what he's here for.
All right, thank you, Coach. Ray, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jordan. What did you think about what Derek James just told Jordan Plant, Joe?
Well, it's pretty much what we've been discussing and what he was saying earlier. He knows he's getting clipped a little bit, and he's lucky that Silveryra really doesn't turn his knuckles into that left hook, because on that slow motion replay that we showed earlier, he's got an open glove basically. He's hitting on the inside of the palm of his hand, and that really is why he's probably only got 3 knockouts in all of his fights. But that being said, Derek James says, yeah, you can't feint. You're too close to feint right now. So when you're there, you got to get something done. And here we go again. See, it's you know, I see if you're that close to a guy, take some shots to the body. Don't grab onto his arms right there. But it looks like Rashidi wants to get a little distance in this round and see if he can catch him from the outside, maybe arm's length punches instead of short punches on the inside where he's getting hit like that and that.
Just over the midway point of the 5th round, Joe, when a fighter goes rogue on you and starts to do something that is completely the opposite of your instructions, how do you try to reel him back?
Well, I mean, look, most fighters are going to listen to coaches they respect.
Yes.
Okay. And if you work with them diligently day after day after day, they're going to take your word to the bank and they're going to trust your word. So when you tell them something, they better listen. Okay.
Yes.
And that's the way I would tell them. You better listen to me. Okay. And, you know, but you're not going to get a 100% cooperation all the time with every fighter. And this is one of the instances here where Derek James is not happy with how Rashidi is responding to his instructions.
A couple of big right hands by Silveryra as Amon Rashidi is got his hands full against the 26-year-old from Nuevo León, Mexico. And there's another right hand that caught Rashidi. Rashidi dropped his guard and he got clipped over the top on the inside. Now he's just barreling into Silveryra.
Work out that. Pull your arm out. Stop, 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 stop.
As you see the punch stat numbers, the 9 punch, the 8 punch advantage in terms of landed.
And Silveryra slowed down here the last 15 seconds, which he didn't need to do and shouldn't have done, because that's what happens right there. Rashidi just came back and may have stolen that round by doing that.
We head to the 6th. And Jesus Silveryra.
Okay,
And here's some of the action. There's a crushing right hand.
Yeah, that one snuck in really nice. There we go. He sees Rashidi dropping, so he drops the right uppercut on him, comes back with that open palm left hook. If he curled his knuckles around, it would be a lot more effective punch with his left hand.
Almost the mouthpiece of Rashidi almost came out.
You see how flat that glove was right
Yes.
there? It's not curled in. See,
There's a
he
nice
does that all the
right
time.
hook.
Yeah, yeah.
That connected there by Silveryra.
And you can see the grimacing on the face of Rashidi right now when he's getting hit. He's like I said, he's reacting to it.
So even though Silveryra only has 3 knockouts, he has enough power to be able to keep you at bay. So he does have some power. Is it knockout power? Probably not. But he does have enough power to be able to hurt you.
I've been hit by my grandkids before and it hurts. You know, anything can hurt you if you get hit in the face. So, yeah, it's a grown man hitting you. Some just hit better.
Absolutely. Well, I will attest to that. Not that I've been hit too many times over the course of my life, but it's not fun.
Well, you're lucky.
That is true. Well, that's why I'm sitting here and I'm not in there.
Oh, I thought you meant because you're so slick.
Oh, no, I'm not slick by any means. No. I'm not. But Amon Rashidi, he needs to be slick here inside the ring. He's got to change things around, Joe, because it would appear, at least from my vantage point, that the fight might be slipping away from him.
It's at worst, it's close for him, you know. I think it's a close fight, though, to tell you the truth, on both ends of this, if I'm being honest. And I think the next 3 rounds, this one included, and the next 2, are going to really decide who wins this fight. And if Rashidi wants it, he better step on the gas and outpunch Silveryra the next couple rounds.
A minute has elapsed here in the 6th round in this super lightweight affair.
And you notice Rashidi went southpaw here.
Oh, and he just gets pushed down. Yeah, you can't do that here in this sport.
But see, he was in a different stance. He was in a southpaw stance, which is not his normal stance where you've got your better balance, and that's what happens. He got shoved and he went down, and that never looks good for any reason.
Well, that means you're off balance and you don't have your proper leverage.
See how he grabs those arms around there, and then he got nailed with a couple shots, and then he turned into a southpaw stance and got hit during the transition. You never transition from right-hander to southpaw when you're that close to another guy.
Looping shots by Silveryra that are catching the attention of Rashidi. When it comes to Rashidi as well, he really isn't using much of a jab. He's just kind of going and saying, all right, I'm going to go mano to mano with this guy.
You know, look, he may not have the skills to do this. Some guys just like to fight you at this distance. That's it. And other guys, you know, especially when you get to the 10-round fight, they'll box you more. They'll use their athleticism and their footwork. And other guys just want to brawl. And that's what's happening tonight. I like this fight because it is a brawl. Nobody's playing it safe in this fight.
No,
right?
I mean, no one's playing it safe all night long. I mean, we saw in our first fight, it went the distance, but it was an extremely entertaining affair.
Oh, yeah.
We saw a knockout in our second fight, and here these two guys are saying enough with caution to the wind. We're going to just come at it and start to fight. And they've done that from the outset. Oh, there's a body shot there. We heard it here from our broadcast position. Silveryra right on the abdomen of Rashidi. Well, styles make fights. Tom Brown, the promoter of tonight's event, he certainly has created a gem here tonight because these have been entertaining scraps. And there is Amon Rashidi, and here's some of the craftiness and the work of Silveryra.
And that mouthpiece hanging out of Rashidi's, you know, he's had trouble with that all night. You got to get a mouthpiece that sticks in there whether you get hit or not. Some of them will really be almost glued up into them because they're fitted so tightly.
And Joe, this is dating back to 8 years ago at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Canelo Alvarez defeated Austin Trout by unanimous decision. Nearly 40,000 fans saw Canelo headline in Texas for the first time at the Alamo Dome. Canelo would become a unified champion for the very first time. And incidentally, the man who you're going to be coaching against, Eddie Reynoso, in the corner of Canelo Alvarez. Reynoso is the trainer of Andy Ruiz Jr. You will be in the corner of Chris Arreola next Saturday on pay-per-view.
Yeah, listen, I know Reynoso. I watched a little clip of Reynoso training Andy Ruiz, and they're doing the same drills we're doing. They're doing the mitts, they're doing the cushion, they're doing the heavy bag, they're doing the weave bag, they're sparring. We're probably pretty much on, as I looked at what they were doing, we're doing all the same stuff. So, and I know what that means. They're preparing them for a certain type of fight, which I am too, and that's the fight you're going to get. And you could put a piece of paper between them when that first bell rings, because that's how tight it's going to be between Ruiz and Arreola.
Are you telling me that it's going to be a toe-to-toe fight, Joe?
Well,
I mean, are you getting me excited?
I know you've watched both of these guys fight. Have you ever seen either one of them take a step backwards?
Never in my life.
And again, Arreola broke punch stat records against Kovnatski in many different ways, that stood for 20, 25 years. These guys throw punches. They got great chins. They've got big hearts, and they've got skills. And it's gonna. I can't wait. If I were a fan, I believe me, I'd be watching this fight.
And we're cooking up, starting off Cinco de Mayo week there on May 1st on pay-per-view. Give me some carne asada. I'll be all good to go. Can't wait for that one.
I like the carne and salsa de molcajete is my dish, but that's all right.
Give me some guacamole with that as well. As right now we are with Amon Rashidi and Jesus Silveryra into the 7th round. So far, though, Joe, what does Rashidi have to do to try to change things around in these final 2 rounds?
Well, you never know what the judges are seeing here, because, look, there's been a lot of give and take, a lot of tug of war here. I just think somebody's got to stand out in the next 2 rounds here, finish this round strong, and then come on even stronger in the 8th round. And right now, it's Silveryra that's putting on the pressure. Nice right uppercut. Rashidi grabs on. He's trying to maneuver to sneak in a body shot like that, which he did. But he got answered back by Silveryra right away. That's a nice jab by Rashidi. Pushed down on the neck, made a turn, and they exchanged again. So he's listening to Derek James by trying to get angles and turn Silveryra more. But, you know, Silveryra is not really having it.
And, Joe, would you believe that Silveryra landed 8 more punches than Rashidi in the 6th, the largest differential thus far? But Rashidi just landed a big shot, probably his best punch of the fight.
That's right. He hurt Silveryra with a good left hook.
Boy, Rashidi's going on the attack. Can he find a way to knock down one Jesus Silveryra? He's got about 40 seconds to go. Can he get a knockdown, which would be significant?
And it's Silveryra that's being warned for holding, because he's still buzzed right now. And Rashidi should just get a little bit of distance here, a little bit of punching room, and see if he can catch him with a longer shot, because he's going to get tied up here.
There is a mouse that has developed underneath the right eye of Jesus Silveryra as he got blasted by Amon Rashidi. Holy mackerel.
And this is what I was, nice counter shot by Silveryra. This is what I was talking about. Rashidi had to hurt him at some point. And that was a good time to hurt Silveryra to get this win in this round, and then maybe the next round.
And blood outside of the left eye of Amon Rashidi. And Amon Rashidi digging down deep and coming up with his best punch of the fight right here, Joe.
Now you see Silveryra threw his left hook, but he pulled his right hand, his defensive hand, away from his face, which allowed Rashidi to sneak in that hook.
And Rashidi went on the attack, but Silveryra was able to keep himself upright.
Well, not only that, Rashidi allowed Silveryra to grab onto him, see, and that's something you cannot allow. You got to be able to get your hands back and put the forearm under the neck if you have to, and push him off you.
With more on the upset-minded Jesus Silveryra, here is Jordan Plant.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Up until that last round when Silveryra got caught with that big shot, he had some confidence, and you'd be surprised to know this is a guy that hasn't fought in almost 2 years. He's coming off 3 consecutive losses, but he's giving it his all, and I think that's due to the fact that he's been training with Team Santa Cruz the past 3 months, and he said he's been getting better sparring than ever, and he's coming to win, guys. So I think that round might have been for Rashidi, but hey, it comes down to this last last round. Let's see what Silveryra can pull out. Ray?
Joe, if you were a judge, thank you very much, Jordan, how would you score this fight? Who do you think has got the advantage right now?
Well, it's hard to score when we're looking at each other,
Yes.
we're talking, we're analyzing, we're reading things. But if I were just based off the flow of it, I think it's a very close fight right now. I wouldn't say anybody's running away with this fight. Now, I did find out just from the actions of Tom Taylor, the referee, that Rashidi got a cut over his eye right now.
Yes,
so I
outside
think
that left eye.
Yeah, it's so late in the fight that it probably won't be a factor. But to get back to your question, I just think that's why I said the last 3 rounds are going to be big for Rashidi. He did what he needed to do last round. That was to hurt him. That wins the round for you when it hurt a guy that bad. And now this round.
This is a big fight for Rashidi. He is 28 years of age. 8-1-1 is his record. Looking to go to 9-1-1. But he is fighting one tough customer in Jesus Silveryra.
And Silveryra is the one holding on now. And Rashidi should take that as a clue and then get to work, because Silveryra may have used up all the energy he had in his tank. And of course, that left hook, when it hurts you like that, it drains energy from you as well when you get hurt like that.
And Silveryra really hasn't been doing much here in the 8th. If Rashidi is more active, he can likely win the round. Who has enough left as we head towards the last half of the fight?
I see he got clipped with the right hand from Silveryra because he was just laying on him, not doing anything. If I were in the corner, I would be very upset about the fact that Rashidi was not punching in that situation there. You got to go for it all the way, use all your conditioning, all your strength to let it go to win this fight. And right now, he let Silveryra back in this round.
Well, Silveryra just did a nice step around and unloaded a right cross there on the inside. Now Rashidi went back a little bit, took a big deep breath. Final minute of what has been an entertaining affair between these two in Rashidi and Silveryra. Who's willing to get down to that second and third gear, Joe?
Well,
and numerically, they're within 10 punches landed.
Let him go. Let him go.
Want to thank our friends at CompuBox for those numbers.
I'm just looking to see how this unfolds in the next few seconds here, because Rashidi gave up some ground the last 30 seconds, and now he came back and engaged Silveryra for the we're at the 22nd mark right now, so somebody's got to let it go right there. That was a nice right hand left hook by Silveryra, and he's letting his hands go now. You got to go all the way to the bell. All the way to the belt. Don't let a guy hold you. Either one of these guys should not be holding right now.
Final moments of this matchup between Amon Rashidi and Jesus Silveryra. And that's the end of the fight. They gave us 8 compelling rounds, Joe.
Great fight. Really, really good fight.
Welcome back to PBC on FS1. 8 rounds of entertainment between Jesus Silveryra and Amon Rashidi, Joe.
Yeah, it was a very competitive fight. I've yet to see the stats yet, the punch numbers, but I think Silveryra was probably the busier guy. Look at that slap hook. I really don't like that. And
the trainer in you,
his right hand was much better, more efficient.
There's a nice right uppercut by Silveryra.
But again, it went back and forth like this. I think Silveryra probably threw more punches and probably landed more punches.
Well, let's look at the numbers in terms of how the final stats unfolded.
Well, there you go. So if 383 or 4, so there's 80 more punches thrown by Silveryra. He threw, 115 to 106, landed. And look, I mean, the percentage, it's insignificant to me because you already see it self-evident, 115 to 106.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance of 8 rounds, we go to the scorecards. Judges Eddie Hernandez Sr. and Damian Walton score at 79-73, and Judge Robert Hoyle scores at 78-74, all for your winner by unanimous decision, Jesus Silveryra.
Well, that training paid off at Santa Cruz's gym, it looked like, right?
Well, he came out, he was aggressive, and he outworked Amon Rashidi here in Los Angeles.